Hello friends, and welcome to Gardening with Creekside. All right, you know who the dynamic duo we are together. Yes, we are going to begin the process of designing the woodland garden here at the Chicken Coop. Y'all, I brought Mimi in. She is the design expert for dry shade gardens. She's fantastic. So I am blessed to have her at my disposal. So I am implementing her help today. Now, I had to convince Mama that this really is a shade garden because she's like, Jenny, are you sure? And I said, I am. But you can see all the trees here, they are hardwoods. So we're in that spot of year and gonna be here for a couple of more weeks. That is a weird spot because the trees have not leafed out yet. So this space gets lots of sun, but in the summer, when it matters the most, it truly is a shade garden. So our goal today is we are simply beginning the design process. I am really trying to learn how to have realistic expectations of myself in the garden. So what we are going to do today is try to come up with the overall plan and the additions that I want to make this growing season. So you can see we have got some structure here. We are going on year 3 of this garden. You faithful viewers, you will remember that I could not even get in this garden for one whole year because of trees that were hung up. Gosh, it started with, it was in 2024. 2024 was it was a humdinger of a year here. So we started with a storm in May, massive tree came down and got hung up, then Helene hit. So for a year, I was not in this garden. It is awful soil, y'all. So today, designing a dry shade garden that has horrible red clay soil to give me year-round interest and that I can put those plants in that I want to put in. I desperately want hostas and luscious ferns. There is no way that I can plant those directly in the ground here. They will not thrive for sure, but I have a plan. The plan is that we are going to put those plants in bright cobalt blue pots. Some of them are aqua pots, some of them are just traditional pots, but we are going to take these pots, and today, by the end of this video, we are going to know where these pots are going to go in this garden. When I say I have red clay, I am not exaggerating. This is orange. It is compact. If you see dark spots, that is because I have amended it with compost. We got a long way to go. Mama was like, this is awful, Jenny. This is terrible. I'm like, I know, Mama. That's why we're tackling it right now. So what Mimi is doing is, we had already talked a little bit, so she's kind of getting ahead of me, not ahead of me, but working while I'm talking with you folks about kind of getting an idea of where these plants are going to go. So not only do we have a design issue that we're going to take care of today, but also clearly I need to come in here with some really great mulch and amend this bed, amend, because there is no irrigation here. However, I can't do that until I get all of the pesky things out of here. So for example, I have got this absolutely gorgeous, this is Carlotta hellebore, but you can see that coming out of Carlotta is some sort of tree. There's suckers, they're probably some sort of like maple tree or something like that. So I have got to take care of them by cutting them and painting them. So I've got that kind of stuff. I've got limbs, I've got roots, I've got every Southern gardener's dreaded honeysuckle coming up in here. So I have to get all of this kind of cleaned up before I can actually start planting and mulching. I tell you all the time that gardening teaches you patience. This bed, it teaches me patience. I want a lush woodland garden that is so Southern iconic. That's not even a word. I don't even care what it is. Southernly iconic, that when you look at it, you're like, she gardens in the South. I want camellias, the aspedistra, the ferns, the hostas, all the things, the brunnera, the pulmonaria, all of those things, but I also have to be realistic and pace myself. This is a garden that I probably will quote, forever fight with the soil and the trees. And I'm okay with that. I'm not looking for a quick fix, but I want to do it right from the beginning. So we're going to be adding in some evergreen structure with some shrubs, and then the fun pops of color with those cobalt blue pots, because that is where I tend to go. That is my natural default with containers. Cobalt blue, I love it. So we're going to think a little bit, and I'll meet you back here in just a minute. But it's going to be a fun time with me and Mimi in the Woodland Garden. My goodness, y'all. Okay, so it's been a long time since we have had a little chit chat. It's about 4 o'clock right now. So it's been about 4 or 5 hours, 4 hours since we last talked. And y'all, we got so much stuff done. Now, we didn't plant any plants, really. And so turns out this is going to be part 1. Part 2 will be headed your way in the next video, or in 2 videos, where we actually come in and plant. But today's ultimate goal was design, and I have no doubt that we successfully accomplished that mission. So if you find garden design interesting like I do, because keep in mind, literally creating this garden in the middle of woods. There's some pine trees, but there's mostly hardwood trees. So there's oaks, there's poplars. I mean, like there's all sorts of things in here. Was not a bed. The soil is awful. There is no irrigation, but I am bound and determined to have a beautiful woodland shade garden, and I am committed to the process, and my mama is the absolute queen to help me. So let me just kind of take you on a little tour of what we did, because I really like it. I think the best way to start is with the bones that we put into the garden that are not plants any longer at all. So we had to take down 2 very large oak trees up at production. And so Jackson has been dealing with them. You know, I'm a huge fan of Stumpery, but I don't really have a lot of Stumpery, but my mama does. So Jackson, bless his sweet little heart, brought down these pieces. Number 1, this huge butt of the tree, right? So it is, and this is, we actually had 3, I'm not sure which one this one was, but we only had to take down 2. Obviously, it's somebody left over from another time. Y'all, this thing is massive. It is huge. So he brought the caterpillar down here, the cat, and got it put into place. It was heavy, but he did it. And so we have positioned the cast iron plants around it, the aspedistra. So we're gonna plant them and tuck them in up next to this stump. They soften the stump. It looks like the stump, you know, has been here forever, and then the cast iron plants are just gonna be kind of snuggled up to it. And absolutely adored. Then we had a log, so this was part of the trunk, right? And one end got split somehow. I don't know what the deal was, but anyway, there we go. And we have got it laid down in here, and yet again, those cast iron plants, a totally different one, snuggled up to them. Then we're gonna plant them just like that. So we're gonna plant one on the back side and then two together, so it looks like one mass clump of the aspedistra right there together. So it just softens it and just makes it so much fun, right? Love it. And then of course we already have this piece. This is actually the butt of the pine tree, one of the pine trees that had fallen down during the storms that I was talking about earlier. So we have it on its side so that we can see the gnarly roots. And as time goes by, I keep kind of chipping away at the red clay that's in there, but that's kind of fun. So what we're going to do is add the autumn ferns around the base of it to soften it up. Some of them are in pots that have been hanging out here, and then the 3 root balls that you can kind of see, they were in this space and we had to dig them up for, I think, when that tree came down. So we had to take care of those. So again, softening up the stumpery in here. And then we have 3 other pieces. So you can see that one's holding on water cup. And so that's one, it makes a great seat, by the way. So I'm not having any plans to put anything on it right now. At some point, if I want to put something on it, if it's a pot or if it's a statue, if it's, I don't know, whatever it may be, I can do that. We're going to plant these Trevi fountain pulmonaria all around the base of it. So this Trevi fountain is hanging out in their courts. I've got 5 of them. They were left over at the nursery last year, so I grabbed them. So what we're gonna do is spread them out and plant them around the base of this, this stump seat. There you go, a stump seat. So there you go on that. And then we had 2 other pieces down here. So one, we had a bit of a hole because that's where a tree was. And so we just put it there. Again, if I want to put something on it later on, I can. But for right now, the plan is to leave it kind of empty and kind of blank. So there we go on that. And then this is what Jackson called a cookie. So then we got a cookie, and so we are going to actually use this as a plant holder. So I have just a traditional pot. We're gonna plant Thunderbolt hosta in this. Thunderbolt is nice and big. It's a blue hosta. That's why I stuck it all the way back here in the back of the garden, so it will get the most shade. Big, huge, wide leaves on it. So it will go there. And then I had 2 of the pink and blue pulmonaria. So we'll plant those around the base of that one. So that takes care of the stumps. So as I told you when we first started, I wanted to put in my blue pots in this garden, and it makes such an electric statement. They stand out. It is gorgeous. I cannot wait. And they don't even have any plants in them yet, but it's so much fun to see all the color differences and texture differences in this space. Let me show you how I'm going to use the pots, both for annuals and for perennials. I'm standing at the steps coming up into the chicken coop. So this is an aqua pot that we're going to use, and it's going to be an annual planting. So we'll put flowers in here. I don't know what I'm going to put in here. I'm thinking it's going to be an annual, a flowering annual that can do sun or shade. So I'm thinking maybe some type of begonia, a caladium, maybe it's a mixed pot, I don't know. And then hopefully, because it was quite comical, you saw us wrestling the container that is now way back here, but it used to be where this aqua pot was, and the pot was already cracked. It had a very severe crack in it, and it had a guacamole hosta in it. Mimi and I had to wrestle that thing, and the only way to get it out, because the guacamole was so pot bound, was to literally break the pot. And it did have a aquapot insert in it, so that's just off to the side. I need to pick that up. We're going to use the moho penstemons. They're going to go right here, get them in the ground. Of course, we talked about the pot, the blue pot that's on the cookie back there. And then we're going to put the other moho right here. So we'll have a total of 3. So if you can see from that perspective, kind of ties it in, makes it really fun. And then this is that larger aqua pot. We did have it at the nursery. I commandeered it. Cece gave me the green light. She's like, nope, we're not going to use it for anything. Take it, enjoy it. That's the guacamole. It's upside down, but look at that root system, y'all. Absolutely insane. I am going to use it. I am going to save it. Don't worry. She's fine, sitting right there. And then this is the blue pot that I kind of took from the nursery, and it has an island breeze, which is a nice chartreuse, beautiful one. And then I thought this was just a stroke of genius to use this blue pot in the middle of the 3 sweet and low sarcococcas. This has a euchorella in it, and it is a very fun chartreuse green. I never can remember. Aspi. So Aspi is in here. This used to be down at the house in the shade garden down there. And then last but not least, I almost forgot, we have a little collection of blue pots here at the base of the unique stone. This unique stone is going to stay here because I love it, and so it's massive. We're not moving this one, but this little fun little collection will have some hostas, euchera in there, and then I think, well, we're not sure. Maybe another aspedistra. We'll see. It is always a great time with Mimi in the garden. It goes from one thing to the next thing to the next. But we were very focused today, and I was very proud of us. We got a lot of stuff accomplished because sometimes it takes a minute to get your brain wrapped around it. So for this garden, I am looking for color and texture, seasons, 4 seasons of interest, all of those things. Don't be afraid to use things that maybe seem out of place. The pot's literally in the landscape. Old stumps. It could be people, I know people go to the beach and they find driftwood and they bring it home and put it in their gardens. Absolutely. The thing is, the rule with a garden design is that it's your garden, and if you like it, go for it. Even if it's a funky little face on the tree, go for it. Have fun. Gardening should be fun. It should not be stressful. It should not be stuffy. Enjoy yourself in your garden. You are the steward of your garden. Enjoy that space and have fun. So like I said, we're going to take a day off because, we're going to take a day off, come back on Friday and get these plants in the ground. So come back for part 2 of the fun adventure with Mimi here in the Woodland Garden at the Chicken Coop. As always, we hope you found this fun, informative, surely entertaining today. Y'all have a great day. We'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.